Object-oriented programming concepts are quite important if you want to implement real-world applications. Object-oriented programming provides modularity for easier troubleshooting, reuse of code through inheritance, and flexibility through polymorphism. In this tutorial, we shall properly learn about object-oriented programming and how to implement OOPS concepts in Java. We shall start off by creating objects and classes. Then we'll implement single inheritance. Finally, we shall implement multi-level inheritance. Now, before we start off with the main content, I request you guys to please like the video and also subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on the latest tech topics. So folks, I have opened up Eclipse IDE over here. Now, the aim is to understand the concept of object-oriented programming in Java. So before we head on to implement the OOPS concepts in Java, let's understand the primary concept of object-oriented programming. So let's break this down into parts. So object-oriented programming. Now, what does this exactly mean? So now, if you look around you, what do you see? You see a lot of different things, isn't it? Right? You see a lot of living things, you see a lot of non-living things. And if you have to represent all of these living things as well as non-living things into a programming world, you would need help of objects, because essentially what these living things and non-living things are is objects, isn't it? So if you have a bag in front of you, what is that? That's an object. If you have a pet dog, what is that? That is also an object. And whether it is a non-living thing or whether it is a living thing, if you have to represent it in a programming world, all you're doing is using these objects in a programming paradigm. So that's pretty much the basic concept of object-oriented programming. So to just give a recap, object-oriented programming is where we are representing all of the real-world objects. And these real-world objects can be living or non-living. So we are taking these real-world objects and putting them up in the programming world. So as simple as that. Now we'll see the concepts of object-oriented programming in Java. So here I have Eclipse opened up. So I'll just go ahead and create a new Java project. Let me just give this a project name called as Sparta. I'll click on finish. So seems like I already have this. I'll just overwrite it over here. I'll again create this. So I have the source folder over here. Now inside the source folder, what I can do is I can just go ahead and create a new class. Now, what is a class? So here we'd have to understand that if we are representing something from a real world into a programming paradigm, we are essentially creating a template of it. Now, we have a car. So car is an object. So car has a template, isn't it? Right? So car has a particular shape. Car has 4 wheels. Car has these many windows. Car has an engine. So it basically has a template. And that template is called as a class. And that is what we are creating over here. So let me just go ahead and actually create a package over here. Let me also give it the name of Sparta. Right. So now that we have this, let me click on new over here. And after this, let me just go ahead and create a Java class. So I'll create class, and here we normally have one class which will have the main method, and other classes which we create will not have the main method. So this I'm calling it as my primary class. Since this is my primary class, I will include public static void main inside this. So let's give this a name. So let's call this as my head. So now that this is set, let me just go ahead and click on finish. So I have created this class called as my head, which has the main method. Now that this is there, what I'd want to do is I'd want to create another class in this same project over here. So I'll click on new, and in this I'll create another class, but this time this will be a public class, but I will not include public static void main. So here let me just name this as, let's call this fruit vendor, and I'll hit finish. So I've just created a class called as fruit vendor. And by convention, whenever you're creating a class in Java, the first letter of the class, we keep it capital. And after that, it's normally title case. So here, fruit vendor, F is capital. Then again, we have V over here. So without spaces, obviously, because this is one particular class name. So I have something called as fruit vendor over here, and in a class, so consider a class to be a box sort of thing. Now in that box sort of thing, a class has something called as features and also something called as behavior. So to give an example, now if we take the example of a car, so car will have certain features and it will have certain behavior. So the features would be color of the car, cost of the car, or the mileage of the car, and its behavior would be a car travels or a car stops, or maybe a car just runs over a person. That's a very bad example. So these are some of the behavior of a car. So now that we know what exactly is there inside a class, let's go ahead and create those members. So there are something called as, we have behavior and then we have attributes. So let's go ahead and create normal attributes. So since this is a fruit vendor, what I'd want is, I'll create two variables over here. One variable would have the name of the fruit. Another variable would have the cost of the fruit. So here to have the name of the fruit, I'll probably have string, and I'll call this as fruit name. And I'll give this a name of, let's just call this apple over here. Then similarly, I'd want to give this a cost as well. So let me write this properly. String fruit name is equal to apple. Going ahead, I'll have an integer type member and I'll name this as fruit cost. So let's say this apple costs 80 rupees. So I have these two members over here, or these are basically the features or the attributes. Apart from this, I also need to have some behavior over here. Now let's say if you go to a fruit vendor, so probably you'll tell him, hey, I'd want this apple and this fruit, right? So you're basically telling him, I want this, I want this. So for that, I'll just go ahead and create a method as well. So I'll make it a public method. Public, this will return nothing. And I'll have two methods over here. One method, I'll just use it to show the fruit name. So I'll have show fruit name, and this will not take anything. This will just print out the fruit name. So this will not take a parameter. And inside this, what I want to do is I just want to use a system.out.println, and here I shall write the name of the fruit is, and here I'll just use fruit name, right? So now this fruit name is basically the member or the attribute, and that I'm printing out over here using this method. Similarly, I'll create another method over here. I'll have public void. This will be show fruit cost. And here again, I will have system.out.println, and here I'll have the cost of the fruit is, and here again I'll just print out fruit cost. So what I've done over here is I've created a template or a blueprint or a class, and the name of the class is fruit vendor. So this fruit vendor has two attributes. One attribute is name, which is fruit name, and I've given the name as apple. Then I have something called as fruit cost, and the cost of the fruit is 80. Then going ahead, I've added certain behavior to this. So one behavior is it will show out the name of the fruit. Another behavior is it will show out the cost of the fruit. So here, the fruit name and the fruit cost, I'm able to invoke them through these methods. So I have this class ready. And now, if I do want to access this class, I would need something called as an object. So here, let me give you guys an example. So again, we've taken the example of a car, isn't it? So when I just say car, you can imagine a car of any brand. You'll probably imagine a Ferrari, it could be a Maruti, it could be a Jaguar, it could be, I'm just running out of names of different cars. So whatever brand it is, right? So when you hear the word car or the term car, that is only the blueprint. But there could be different objects or different varieties of that particular car. So Ferrari would be one particular object of the class car. Similarly, you will have Maruti, which is another variety or another object of the class car. Then you will have Tata Nano, which is again another variety or another object of this class car. So here I have this class called fruit vendor. For this, I do want to create an object. Now, how do I do that? So this, I'll go back to my head. Inside my head, I will create an object of this class fruit vendor. So let me write fruit vendor over here, and after that, let me create an object. So I'll just call this as FV is equal to new fruit vendor, and I'll hit a semicolon. So what I've done over here is I have created an object for this class named fruit vendor, and now since I have this object ready, so remove FV and all assignments, the value of local variable FV is not used. So now that I have this, what I'd want to do is I'll just use FV dot fruit. I would have two methods over here, FV dot show fruit cost, and again I will have FV dot show fruit name. Now FV dot show fruit cost, I can just go ahead and print it out. So here I can just, since I've invoked this and inside this it already has the system.out.println, it will directly print out the fruit cost and the fruit name. Let me cut it from here, paste it over here. This would be much better. Now when I run this, you will see the result. So here, if you see, let me just drag this up a bit. The name of the fruit is apple. The cost of the fruit is 80. So folks, we have successfully created our first class and first object in Java. As simple as this. So here the real world entity is an apple, or you can basically consider fruit to be the class and apple to be the object. So what I've done is I have this class called as fruit vendor, and for that I have these two attributes, these two methods, and I've created an object of it called as FV. And with this object, I have invoked these two methods and I've printed out the name of the fruit is apple and the cost of the fruit is 80. As simple as this. Now, let's go ahead and do a bit of complicated stuff. So this was our original class, isn't it? So here what I'd want to do is I'd want to have something called as a constructor. Now what exactly is a constructor? Well, you can consider a constructor to be a special method or a special function which will have the same name as that of the class. So here what I'll do is instead of assigning this string fruit name is equal to apple int fruit cost is equal to 80, what I'll do is I'll have a method and I will give in the name of the method as fruit vendor, and inside this what I'd want to do, let me just give in proper spacing over here and let me remove this. So here I will have those two as well. Let me have string fruit name. Initially I'll just keep it blank, and then I would want fruit as well, so I'll have fruit cost, and initially I'll set this to be equal to 0. And here let me give in a couple of parameters. So the first parameter would be string. So here I'll have string fn and I'll have int fc. And now I'll just write down this dot fruit name is equal to Fn, and similarly I'll have this dot fruit cost is equal to Fc. So what are we doing here? This special method, which is a constructor, this will help us to initialize the values of these parameters or initialize the values of these attributes during the creation of object itself. So instead of hard coding the values, what I'll do is, so this is the modified fruit vendor class. Now let me go back to my head. And here you see this error, isn't it? Add arguments to match fruit vendor string int. So here, while I am creating this object, at this time itself, I can assign values. So now I've not given what type of fruit it is and what type of, what is the cost of it. So here, let's say I want this to be an orange and I'll give the cost of this orange to be equal to 50. And again, the rest would be the same. Now, let me hit on run and let's see what are the changes over here. So this time with this simple change, as you see, with the help of this constructor, I am able to pass in the values or initialize the values during the creation of the object itself. And the result, you will see the name of the fruit is orange and the cost of the fruit is 50. Similarly, let me change this a bit. Instead of orange, I'd probably want a watermelon. Let me write down watermelon over here. Instead of 50, let's keep it as 120. Now let me run this again and let's see what is the change. And as you see, we have successfully implemented the change as well. The name of the fruit is watermelon and the cost of the fruit is 120. As simple as this, guys. Right. So now that we've understood the basics of object-oriented programming, let's dive into this a bit more and understand the concept of inheritance. So I believe all of you would know the general idea or the general meaning of inheritance, isn't it? You're basically passing on something from the higher generation to the lower generation, or from your parents to kids, or basically there is a hierarchy. Something is being passed on from the top tier to the bottom tier, or there is basically two stages over here, from the top stage to the bottom stage. You're passing on something and that is inheriting. So whatever is at the bottom or whatever is at the lower stage over here, that inherits the features of whatever is at the top. So this is the basic idea of inheritance. Now, what does inheritance exactly mean in terms of object-oriented programming? So when it comes to object-oriented programming, what you're basically doing is there'll be class A and class B. And when we say class B inherits from class A, some of the features or all of the features which class A has, they can be taken into class B or they can be inherited into class B. As simple as that. Now, we'll go ahead and understand some of these things. So I have this fruit vendor class. Let me just go ahead and delete this for now. Delete fruit vendor. I have my head. Let me remove all of this. So this will just be the main class over here. And now, apart from this, what I'd want to do is I'd want to create another class over here. New class. And this will obviously not have public static void main. So this will be, let's call this the parent class. And let's give this some name. Probably let's call this a laptop. And let's hit on finish again. The first letter has to be capital. So laptop, and I've hit on finish. So I've got this class and I'll just add some properties over here. So one would be, let's see, the color of the laptop. So I'll have string color, and initially let me just keep it to be blank over here, or maybe just let me assign a color to this as well. So color, let me keep it gray because that is the most common color for a laptop. Then going ahead, let me also add the cost of this. So I'll have int, I'll have cost. Let me set the cost for this. So the cost for this, let me keep it, let's call it 12,000 rupees, or maybe let's keep it in dollars. So let's call this as $500. So these are the two attributes which I have for now, and let me add a method over here. So let me add a feature. So that feature could be anything. Public void. Let's call this as what can a laptop do? So you can code. So let's call this as write code, and all I'll do over here is I'll have a system.out.println statement inside this. Let me write it down. System.out.println. I can write code with this laptop, right? So a very simple class over here. And now what I want to do is I'll go back to this myhead.java and I'll create a object for this. So let me write down laptop L is equal to new laptop. So that's pretty much it. I've created a object for this, and let me invoke the, what is the name over here? Write code. So L dot write code. Why don't I get the pop-up over here? Let me select this. So I've got this ready. Now let me go ahead and run this, and let's check the result. So as you see, what I've done over here is I've created one class called as laptop, and this just has one method, write code, and over here in the main class, which is my head, I've created an object of this, and with this object I'm invoking this method. Now what I'd want to do is I'd want to create another class over here. So let me create another class, Sparta, new class. Now here I'll write down, let's call this MacBook. Finish. Now what is a MacBook? MacBook is essentially a laptop. So this would be a class which would have certain properties similar to the laptop class, isn't it? Now since MacBook has similar properties to that of a laptop, I'll just write down public class MacBook extends laptop. So what this means is I have this new class, let's call this a child class. So this child class MacBook extends the features of the laptop class. And inside this, let me add certain attributes which are unique to MacBook, and also let me add certain methods which are unique to MacBook itself. So here for laptop, we had color and cost. Now instead of color and cost, probably I'll add RAM over here, which is just unique to MacBook. And let me have int RAM is equal to, let's have 8 over here. And apart from this, I'll also add a method over here. I'll have public void. Now what can you do with a MacBook which you can't really do with other laptops? Well, what I can think of is designing maybe. So MacBooks are really good for design purpose. So I'll call this as create design, and inside this again let me put in the braces properly, and here again I'll just have system.out.println. I'll have MacBooks are best for design purpose. So what we've done is we have one class called as laptop, we have another class called as MacBook, and MacBook is extending laptop, which would mean that MacBook is inheriting properties of laptop. Now I'll go back to my head over here. Instead of creating an object for the laptop class, I'll go ahead and create an object for the MacBook class. So here I'll write down MacBook MB is equal to new MacBook. Now that this is done, now here you'll see that this is something interesting. So I'll have the write code method available for the MacBook object. But if you go ahead and check this MacBook class, you will see that I've not created any method called as write code, but still this method is available for this object. Now, how is that possible? That is possible because MacBook is extending laptop, which would mean that the public properties or the public members which are present in laptop, they are being transferred, they are being extended, or they are being copied into the MacBook class as well. Now, similarly, what I want to do is I have another method for the MacBook itself. So here that would be mb.createDesign. Now let me run both of these and let's see the result. So here you will see that I've created an object for MacBook, and with the help of this, I'm able to invoke the method of the parent class as well as the method which is unique to the child class itself. So I can write code with this laptop. This is coming from the parent class. MacBooks are best for design purpose. This is coming from the child class. So this was a simple example of single inheritance. Now, let's go ahead and look at an example of multi-level inheritance. So what happens in a multi-level inheritance is, consider three classes A, B, and C. So there'll be class A, and class B would be inheriting properties of class A. Then you'll have class C, which will be inheriting properties of class B. So you can consider this to be, let's say, grandmother, mother, and child relationship. Or you can also call this as grandfather, father, and child relationship, or any three different tiers, right? So the inheritance is being passed across three different generations. Now, this is just an example. It could be 3 generations, 10 generations, or infinitely many generations, but you have multiple levels over here. Now, again, let me delete these two classes again. I'll have laptop.java to be deleted. I'll have macbook.java to be deleted as well. Let me click on OK. And here I'll have a new class. So let's call this comic. And now in this comic, what I'll do is I just have one method over here. And this method, I'll have public void, and I'll call this as show comic. And inside show comic, this will not really take any parameters over here, and I'll just print out system.out.println. This is a generic comic book. So for this class called as comic, I've created a method called as show comic. Now going ahead, I'd want to create another class over here. I'll have a new class over here, and let me call this class as Marvel. So this Marvel class is just a Marvel comic, which again is a comic. So this would be extending the comic class. And since this is extending the comic class, now I have something specifically for this class itself. I'll have a method. So I'll have public void. I'll call this as show Marvel. And again, I'll just have only a system.out.println statement inside this. System.out.println. This is a Marvel comic book. Now going ahead, I'll have another class created, new class, and here let's call this Spider-Man over here. If I'm not wrong, Spider-Man would be a Marvel comic. Let me hit finish. Now Spider-Man is a Marvel comic. That is why this would extend Marvel. And here let me have a unique method for this as well. So here I shall write down public void show Spider-Man, and inside this again let me just have a system.out.println statement. And what do I want to write down? This is a Spider-Man Marvel comic book. So what is happening over here? We have first generation comic, then we have Marvel, which is extending comic, then we have Spider-Man, which is extending Marvel. Let me go back to the original class over here, which is my head. Let me delete all of this and I'll go ahead and create an object for Spider-Man, which is at the lowest tier. So I'll have Spider-Man SM is equal to Spider-Man. I've just created an object for this. Now SM dot show comic, which is coming from your grandparent class. Then I'll have SM dot show Marvel, which is coming from your parent class. Then I'll have SM dot show Spider-Man, which is coming from the same class. And I'll hit on run and let's see the result. So this is a general comic book which is coming from grandparent class. Then you have this is a Marvel comic book which is coming from your tier 2 or the parent class. And then finally you'll have this is a Spider-Man Marvel comic book which is at the lowest tier. So folks, this was all about object-oriented programming. So we've understood the basics of object-oriented programming. What exactly is object-oriented programming? Then we've learned how to create a class and an object. Then we've understood what is inheritance. We've learned how to implement single inheritance, and we've also learned how to implement a multiple inheritance. So folks, if you like this video, hit the like button and also do not forget to subscribe to our channel. So thank you very much and let's meet in the next one.